you're doing good. I'm back with this book, the same book, The Emperor's New Mind by Sir Roger Penrose. Before getting into this book, I would like to say something about myself. So, I have a lot of hobbies. Maybe that's why those hobbies keep me busy. I don't feel bored. Never. Okay, so I like fashion, watching history, documentaries, and writing poems, recitals, and what else? Reading books, paintings, a little bit of each of this. Okay, so, oh, I like horoscope, I watch Ancient Aliens, and I watch a lot of other things. One of my favorite poems is Vagabond by R.L. Stevenson. You can say this is my favorite poem actually. This is how it goes. Give to me the life I love, let the leaf go by me. Give the jolly heaven above and the byway nigh me. Bed in the bush for the stars to see. See? Bed in the bush for the stars to see. Bread I dip in the river. There's the life for a man like me. There's the life forever. Isn't that beautiful, guys? It is so beautiful. I can close my eyes and continue this. I can go on and on and on and on. You might be thinking it's so boring. Okay. This was an excerpt from Robert Louis Stevenson's famous poem, Vagabond. Okay. Let's waste no time and continue with this book, this great book. Last time we didn't even finish the introduction. So, where did you leave? Here. We left here, guys. Today we are starting with this. The Turing Test. Did I get it right? The pronunciation? Maybe. I'll look into it. Okay. Let us imagine that the new model of computer has come on the market, possibly with a size of memory store and number of logical units in excess of those in human brain. Suppose also that the machines have been carefully programmed and fed with great quantities of data of an appropriate kind. The manufacturers are claiming that the devices actually think. Do they? Let's see. Perhaps they are also claiming them to be genuinely intelligent, or they may go further and make the suggestion that the devices actually feel pain, happiness, compassion, pride, etc., and that they are aware of and actually understand what they are doing. Indeed, the claim seems to be being made that they are conscious. Whoa, do you think so? How are we to tell whether or not the manufacturer's claims are to be believed? Ordinarily, when we purchase a piece of machinery, we judge its worth solely according to the service it provides us. If it is satisfactorily performs the task we set it, then we are well pleased. If not, then we take it back for repairs or for test the manufacturer's claim that such a device actually has the asserted human attributes we would according to this criterion simply asks that it behaves as a human being would in these respects. Provided that it does this satisfactorily, we should have no cause to complain to the manufacturers and no need to return the computer for repairs or replacement. This provides us with a very operational view concerning these matters. The operationalist would say that the computer thinks. Okay? Provided that it acts indistinguishably from the way that a person acts when thinking. For the moment, let us adopt this operational viewpoint. Of course, this does not mean that we are asking that the computer move about in the way that a person might while thinking. Still, less would we expect it to look like a human being or feel like one to the touch. Those would be attributes irrelevant to the computer's purpose. However, this does not mean that we are asking it to produce human-like answers to any question that we may care to put to it, and that we are claiming to be satisfied that it indeed thinks or feels, understands, etc., provided that it answers our questions in a way indistinguishable from a human being. Do you get it, folks? It's complicated. This viewpoint was argued for very forcefully in a famous article by Alan Turing. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Entitled Computing Machinery and Intelligence, which appeared in 1950 in the philosophical journal Mind, Turing 1950. We shall be hearing more about Turing later. In this article, the idea now referred to as the Turing Test was first described. This was intended to be a test of whether a machine can reasonably set to think. Let us suppose that a computer like the one our manufacturers, that's how you pronounce it right, are hawking in the description above is indeed being claimed to think. According to the Turing test, the computer, together with some human volunteer, are both to be hidden from the view of some perceptive interrogator. The interrogator has to try to decide which of the two is the computer and which is the human being merely by putting probing questions to each of them. These questions, but more importantly, the answers that she receives. I wonder why it's only she and no he, are all transmitted in an impersonal fashion, say typed on a keyboard and displayed on a screen. The interrogator is allowed no information about either party other than the obtained merely from this question and answer section. Sorry folks. The human subject answers the questions truthfully and tries to persuade her that he is indeed the human being and the other subject is the computer. But the computer is programmed to lie so as to try to convince the interrogator that it and still is the human being. If in the course of a series of such tests, the interrogator is unable to identify the real human subject in any consistent way, then the computer or the computer's program or programmer or designer, etc., is deemed to have passed the test. Now, it might be argued that this test is actually quite unfair on the computer. For if the roles were reversed so that the human subject instead were being asked to pretend to be a computer, and the computer instead to answer truthfully, then it would be only too easy for the interrogator to find out which is which. All she would need to do would be to ask the subject to perform some very complicated arithmetical calculation. A good computer should be able to answer accurately at once, but a human would be easily stumped. One might have to be a little careful about this. However, there are human calculating prodigies with unfailing accuracy and apparent effortlessness. For example, Johann Martin Zacharias Diez, an illiterate farmer's son who lived from 1824 to 1861 in Germany, was able to multiply any two 8 figures together in his head in less than a minute or two. 20 figure numbers together in about 6 times. Let me repeat it. He was able to multiply any two 8 figure numbers together in his head in less than a minute, or two 20 figure numbers together in about 6 minutes. So intelligent. It might be easy to mistake such feats for the calculations of a computer. In more recent times, the computational achievements of Alexander Aitken, who was professor of mathematics at the University of Edinburgh in the 1950s, and others are as impressive. The arithmetical task that the interrogator chooses for the test would need to be significantly more taxing than this. Say, to multiply together two 30-digit numbers in 2 seconds, which would be easily within the capabilities of a good modern computer. Thus, part of the task for the computer's programmers is to make the computer appear to be stupider than it actually is in certain respects. For if the interrogator were to ask the computer a complicated arithmetical question, as we had been considering above, then the computer must now have to pretend not to be able to answer it, or it would be given away at once. But I do not believe that the task of making the computer stupider in this way would be a particularly serious problem facing the computer's programmers. Their main difficulty would be to make it answer some of the simplest common sense types of questions that a human subject would have no difficulty with whatever. There is an inherent problem in citing specific examples of such questions, however. For whatever question one might first suggest, it would be an easy matter subsequently to think of a way to make the computer answer that particular question as a person might. But any lack of real understanding on the part of the computer would be likely to become evident with sustained questioning, and especially with questions of an original nature and requiring some real understanding. The skill of the interrogator would partly lie in being able to devise such original forms of question, and partly in being able to follow them up with others of a probing nature, designed to reveal whether or not any actual understanding has occurred. Folks, I do not want to torture you guys anymore. there is something written in very teeny letters. Next time when I come back, I have to read this using maybe a magnifying glass. This much for today. Bye bye. See you later.